Come on, truck. Hello, people on the internet. It's your favorite shop trolling Sarah here with a brand new truck review. And today I have the 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro X. Finally, they redesigned the Frontier. I love that this looks like a production version of a concept truck. Nissan did a great job making this thing future-proof. And the headlights on here, they are LED, but you don't get these headlights on the base model. This is something you have to upgrade to. I like it has these little amber LEDs in there. It kind of reminds me of a Ford Raptor a little bit. This new generation Frontier gets an all-new Nissan burger. And you notice it's red in the center because it's a Pro model. The Pro models like it raw. I know some of you are wondering where the number 4 is in the name Pro X, and that's because this is an off-road package 2-wheel drive truck. It's kind of similar to what they did in the past with the Desert Runner, but I think this is great that they still offer this because some people in the desert Southwest, like where I live, like to turn these trucks into pre-runners and do long travel suspension, but don't necessarily want 4-wheel drive. This particular Pro X is loaded. It has over $6 grand in additional packages and options added to it, one of which is the Pro Premium package that adds these gunmetal simulated beadlock 17-inch wheels that are wrapped in a 265/70 Hankook Dynapro AT2 tire. As far as the brakes go, the Frontier comes with a 2-piston caliper up front and 11.7-inch rotor, unlike the Tacoma that has a 4-pot caliper up front. However, unlike the Tacoma, this has disc brakes in the rear with an 11.3-inch rear rotor and a single-pot caliper. Now this back here I like. When you lock the doors on the truck with the fob, it locks your tailgate also, so no one can open it. That's smart. I think this should help out a ton with people that live in areas with a high rate of tailgate theft, because now there's no way you can accidentally forget to lock your tailgate since it does it when you lock the doors. Now, unfortunately, the base truck does not come with all these goodies you see back here, like the spray-in bed liner and this utility track, and this little gem of a device right here, which is a holder for the Kicker Bluetooth boombox that comes with the truck. Squeeze this, flip this, this thing goes like that, latch it down, boombox. And right below it is a power inverter to charge it with. Smart. One slight criticism though, this Boulder Gray is one of 9 shades that all are quite similar to what you can find on a Toyota Tacoma. I think they played it a little bit too safe in the color palette, and they could have went a little wild and did something different that Toyota doesn't offer. I would have appreciated that. As far as the interior goes, I'll make this short and to the point, just let you get a good look at what it looks like in here. This Pro X model does have black leather interior, and this right here is a girthy A-pillar. Look how fat that thing is. Since this thing is loaded up with a bunch of packages, this is about as nice as it's gonna get inside a Frontier. These Pro X leather seats that actually say Pro X in them, so that means if you get the 4x4, they have to make an additional different seat cushion that has a 4 in it. That's high class. It's got a pretty beefy steering wheel on here. I like the little grips up here, and of course Nissan's new hamburger bun with the red accents. And out back, yep, that's a back seat. Not bad looking. Headroom, it's pretty close. I'm almost 6 foot tall. And legroom, not bad. Nissan, I hate to break it to you, but this is a truck, not a car. Thank you. Bolstering wise, no bolstering. Failed in that department. But these seats have a special technology incorporated in them called 0G, which means I'm not even sitting in the seat. I'm actually floating above it right now. These are comfortable seats in the back too. And I got a USB and a USB-C plug, as well as a power inverter, also part of that convenience package. Here's a seat Easter egg that's easy to miss. It's got a lumbar knob on the inside. This thing's full of tech. You got heated mirrors, heated seats, heated steering wheel, park sensors, USB-C, USB, digital climate control conveniently set on 69 degrees because that's the perfect temperature. Don't argue with me. 4, 5, 6. This thing has got a ton of handles. There's 6 of them. Rugged. And these things fold up too, I presume. Yes, they do. Oh yeah, what? No way! This is actually really nice. It's quality too feeling, doesn't feel cheap. It says Nissan on the little camouflage backpacks. Adventure medical kit, medikit. Old school floor mounted parking brake. Nice, no electronic one. Now it's time to see what this thing sounds like. Good sounding V6. The infotainment system on this truck's good looking. I like the gloss black around the surround of it. In the screen itself, there's nice graphics on here. It's not boring looking. It does have a 360-degree camera, also has navigation that is super colorful and pretty. It has Fruit and Robot compatibility as well as Wi-Fi, and lets you know that there's a flash flood coming. In the name of science, it is now time to give this thing the beans. Going to keep it in automatic mode because I'm not as smart as a robot. Going to disable traction control, give this thing a little assistance, and let it eat. Ready? Go! Woo! Go truck go! Go truck go! I like how smooth the transmission is. That's good. Doesn't have a lot of low-end grunt, but this thing's not sluggish. It pulls pretty hard in the upper RPM for what it is. Where are you, hood popper? I want to do you without looking. So he said, sad. Hello, and welcome to Garage Science with Sarah. Under the hood of this new Frontier is the VQ38 Delta Delta. It is a 3.8 liter 4km naturally aspirated V6 that produces 310 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 281 pound-feet of torque at 4,400 RPM. This engine's essentially new for Nissan. There's less than 10% of its components that are utilized in older variants of the VQ V6, like the 4-liter that was in the previous generation. This does have direct injection. This engine was introduced in the previous generation Frontier for its final model year, which I actually think is kind of cool, and it's going to make those trucks possibly desirable one day because it's weird. It's kind of like when the SN95 Mustang had a 5-liter in it before it went to the 4.6. Anyway, back to the Frontier. My only criticism though is this is the only engine that is offered in the Frontier now. There's no base model 4-cylinder, which I think is a huge miss. I would like to see at least something else offered in here, whether it be a diesel, a hybrid powertrain, or they could stick the new Z's engine in here and make a Nismo model with 400 horsepower to compete against the TRD Pro Tacoma and Ranger Raptor if that comes to the States. That would be what's up. Time for the braking test. No one behind me? Ready? Woo! Oh my god! No! The back end, I could feel it go like this a little bit. That was wild. These are good brakes. Hello, I'm back. It's now time for the best part of this video, in my opinion. It's time to look underneath the truck and see what makes it unique. Come. Well, 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 what do we have here? Stainless exhaust with a gloss black tip. And the spare tire is the same brand and size of tire as everything else on the truck. Thank you. Pretty simple recipe back here. You got a Dana solid rear axle, just like you have on the 4-wheel drive version. However, this one does not have the electronic locker like you get in the Pro 4X. It also has a pretty beefy anti-sway bar on here. You get Bilstein dampers, just like you get in the 4x4. And in case you wanted to see this, that was a terrible joke, I'm sorry. And here's your underside shot of the all-new Frontier. It is a fully boxed ladder frame that is coated or painted, one or the other, either way. It's nice that they did that, it should help out some with corrosion. And it looks like everything else under here, like the exhaust, is stainless or aluminum. Hey, check that out. Mufflers made by Calsonic Kansai. The 2-wheel drive version doesn't have all the skid plates that you get on the 4x4, but what you do have that I really appreciate is this cross member right here unbolts, which would make dropping the transmission super easy. Similar to the Titan, the new Frontier has a 9-speed automatic transmission, which is the only transmission available in this truck, no manual. And unlike the new Pathfinder, this is not a ZF unit. It is manufactured by Jatco, and it is a GE 9R01 Alpha, in case you care about those things. And listen to this pan. Yeah, ASMR. That's what's up. You can see the variable speed steering rack is easily accessible on this thing for maintenance as well. Everything is easily accessible on this truck. And that is the cutest little oil pan I have ever seen. Look how tiny this thing is. And up front, you got double wishbone suspension with a coil over strut setup. They are Bilstein dampers, just like you have in the rear, obviously, because why would you have two different brands of damper? I can't get over how easy this thing would be to work on it, though. I mean, look, here's the motor mounts. You can see the AC compressor and the manifolds right up there. Everything unbolts and drops out of the way. The other side, you can see the starter right there and your alternator, really easily accessible from the bottom. Oh yeah, and about that skid plate, it's plastic, so good luck with that. To test this thing's off-road capabilities, I will now conduct a series of scientific tests. This is two-wheel drive, so let's see if it does a donut. Ready, begin. I would say it'll do a donut. The stability control did not quite fully defeat. It got a little bit angry, and this dirt is rather grippy, so it was a little puckery out here. Next, I will try to climb this hill in front of me, which has prevented quite a few crossovers from getting to the top, including a Subaru Forester. And I don't think I've ever made it up in a truck in two-wheel drive. So, this thing's got an open rear diff and two-wheel drive. I'm not lowering any tire pressure. Let's see if it'll do it. I don't think it's gonna do it. All right, little Frontier, come on. Okay, that's really weird. I have traction and stability turned off, and this thing just got angry at me. The ABS started freaking out when one tire got off the ground. Let's try this in manual mode. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it in first gear. Come on, truck. I know you can do this. Come on, truck. I do believe this truck would climb that hill. I do. But safety features that are undefeatable will prevent you from doing it. I will now conduct a scientific experiment of the suspension's articulation capabilities. Go. This is really weird terrain because it rained a bunch, but this is sand, so I feel like there's quicksand out here. Jeez. Ooh, butterflies. I do like these tires. I like the suspension. Nice. Nice and smooth. Now I will conduct a test of this thing's general desert running capabilities. That just means I'm gonna send it. Send it! Butterflies! I mean, this truck's nice and smooth. Suspension does a great job off-road. I'm gonna go back this way. Whoa, getting a little muddy. Now this does have 9.9 inches of ground clearance measured at the rear diff, which isn't too bad for a two-wheel drive truck. Oh, this is some soupy stuff. Speaking of soupy stuff, I will now conduct a scientific experiment of how well this goes through mud. So here is my verdict of this truck. What it needs, the option for the electronic locker from the 4x4 model. An ability to fully defeat stability and traction control, 100% off. And that's it, really. That's all this truck is missing to be a good two-wheel drive off-road truck. Everything else, super satisfied with. Plenty of power, even with it being naturally aspirated and not having a ton of low end torque, it still feels quicker than a Toyota Tacoma. Not as quick as the Ford Ranger with that 2.3 EcoBoost. I really wish there was a manual transmission option available. It would be great if they would just charge you extra. Like, I would be willing to pay an extra $2,500 on a vehicle for a manual transmission. Fuel economy wise, great on this truck, especially on the road, just cruising. I was averaging like 23 miles per gallon. I was happy with that. And feels good build quality. Nice solid chunks when you shut the door. Stereo system's great. I like this truck. Only a couple little issues, but all in all, pretty decent. If you guys never seen one of my vehicle reviews before, I have multiple categories to rate and assess them, starting with the bean score. It's a rating of 1 to 5 beans based on the feeling you get behind your belly button when you give the beans. And this new Frontier Pro X is getting a rating of 1.2 beans. It's a decent amount of power. You can't really complain. I think this engine would sound good too uncorked. Next though is the meatball score. It is a truck's assessment of its off-road capabilities based on wads of meat that tires go over. Anyway, this Pro X Edition Frontier is getting a rating of 2.1 meatball. For being a two-wheel drive truck with an open rear diff, I think the hardware itself is good. It's just the electronic assistants that keep you safe on the road, which there's plenty of those. They kind of ruin its off-road capabilities. Next is the cookie score. It's assessment of value on a 1 to 5 cookie scale. And this truck, as it is equipped, is getting a rating of 2.6 cookies. It's getting an average rating. I think it's on par at just over 40 grand with its competitors. There's a ton of features on the inside of this thing. You will not be disappointed in that department, especially the Bluetooth boombox. Lastly though is the Penguin score. It is a rating of 1 to 5 penguins based on how much I personally like a vehicle. And the new Frontier is getting a rating of 3.9 penguins. Oh, I like the new Frontier, especially the looks of it. This is a good looking truck. It's probably one of my favorites in its class, but I want to see more from this new platform, like something that compete against the TRD Pro Tacoma. A Nismo version, please? Anyway, I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.